Hi, Elle. I hope you're doing great. Okay, so I know you ordered a tarot only, but I ran your chart just to see like what your placements are. So you're Scorpio rising, you have Neptune and Mars in your first, you have Sag on your second, Cap on your third, Aquarius and Mercury in your fourth. You have your Pisces sun is in your fifth house. That is your focus in your life, is that fifth house of joy, of love, romance, children, creativity. That's your focus. Scorpio rising with Neptune and Mars, that could be a little tricky, that placement. Sixth house, you have Aries. Sixth house, you also have Saturn, Venus, Chiron, and your North Node. Seventh, you have Taurus, and that's your relationship house. So whatever energy is on the seventh house, that's really how you kind of show up in relationship, and it's what you're you gravitate towards, right? It's really ultimately what it is that you want in relationship. And the Taurus energy is very grounded, right? It's very Venusian. It's very in touch with the body. When we're talking about that, source rules the body. It rules because it's ruled by Venus. It does. It is one of the energies that deal with the five senses. So good food and good drink, and just feeling really good. And that's how you show up. And that's really ultimately what you want in relationship. That Scorpio rising could get in a little, could be a little tricky. Like, because let me just mention, even though this is a tower only, let me just mention something about Scorpio and Pluto, that wherever they are in our chart, we're not meant to stay the same. That we're not meant for absolute stability, because there's always this underpinning of this need to transform and change. And sometimes it's micro and sometimes it's macro, right? Sometimes it's bigger than other times. So it's always about endings and beginnings. Wherever Scorpio is, that's a lot. There's anxiety. There's a lot to do with the past. It has a lot to do with it's a very karmic energy as well. But Scorpio risings are, Scorpio does rule sex as well, very sexual, very attractive, especially the eyes, right? The very beautiful, piercing eyes. I'm sure you have. They ask a lot, Scorpio risings ask a lot of really good questions, because they are like the problem solver, not the problem solvers of the zodiac. They're the detectives of the zodiac, the psychologists of the zodiac, right? Because the modern ruler is Pluto and the ancient ruler is Mars. So Mars is fire, right? And in this water energy, and Pluto, it's because it rules Aries as well. So we have this like fire, this strong desire to get to the underneath of everything, which is why wherever Scorpio is, there's a lot of drama. There's just a lot of stuff, a lot of energy there. At the same time, Scorpio risings are very grounded and in their faithfulness, right? Scorpio sun's less, to a lesser degree, but Scorpio risings are very committed and into things. You know what I'm saying? So that's, it's really nice in that way. But having Neptune and Mars, there could be some challenges along your road where you may deal with some sort of addictions, because Neptune rules Pisces, which is that house of self-sabotage, and Mars is that warrior energy. So when you have that in your first house of self, it's like you create wars within yourself. So a lot of times, like either addiction or eating disorders can show up here, or any sort of anything that could create like that warlike energy. But there could also be this idea at the same time where you could be so sacrificial and so in a space where you martyr yourself to the point of it actually being like very self-defeating, right? So you want to just be careful of that, just in general. That's your first house of self. So you just want to be very careful of that. What else do we have? So your moon is in Gemini, and that's in your eighth house. Ninth house is in Cancer, 10th house, Leo. Virgo, also Pluto is hanging out there in Virgo in that 11th house. And then in that 12th house, we really always want to understand our 8th house, our 12th house, and our 4th house, right? Those are very deep houses, right? The 4th house is the deepest house, right? And there you have that Aquarius energy. And then that eighth house, you have that Gemini energy, and Gemini, the Gemini moon. So, that there could have been a lot of disappointments having to do with how people show up as we in a relationship. You also may be very hard to pin down when it comes to sharing things in a relationship at the end of the day. Not that you don't want to, you definitely want to, your emotions are in the right place. But when it comes down to it, it's very easy for you to feel very scared, kind of like at the 11th hour. And wait a minute, is this the right thing for me? Is this good for me? It's very hard to pin down as far as like shared resources, shared intimacy, who shows up as what. And a lot of times what can happen here, and this is the house where we show up as a we in relationship, there can be this is wherever Gemini is, especially if it falls in a relationship house. And the eighth house is a money and a relationship house, equally so. Where you very much want something, but if it's not going in a particular way, it's very easy for you to sort of fall out of interest in a relationship in the way that it is progressing. If you don't feel like it really resonates with you, even if you really love the person, there could end up being this situation where you create situations that either end the relationship, or where there's a lot of suspicion surrounding that energy, right? Because the eighth house, the landlord, is Scorpio. There's a lot of suspicion surrounding Scorpio. And the thing is, wherever Scorpio energy is and whatever's going on in our eighth house, we always want to work to balance that out, because like the glyph scorpion, when they feel very threatened, they sting themselves. That's what scorpions do. So not that we sting ourselves and they end up dying, right? Because they end up poisoning themselves. But that's where we can end up sabotaging things, or calling things other than what they are. And again, it's something to keep in mind, especially because to have the Libra energy in the 12th house. The 12th house is the house of the hidden. Libra represents the truth, fairness, balance. So take that idea of truth and put it in the house of the hidden. What you have is the very strong propensity towards lying. Now, because you can lie. I'm not judging. I'm just saying, like, that Libra in the 12th usually indicates somebody who, will lie about things. But because it's also in there, and this is something that you would have to work on as well in your life, because the South Node is in there, but Uranus is in there as well as Jupiter. So Uranus is about these upheavals, right? These shocking surprises in your subconscious, right? It's the house of the hidden. So you could have these epiphanies, and as a way of getting out of it, end up lying your way out of it. Or you could end up feeling very shocked by realizing that someone is not telling you the truth. Sometimes one could be the deal, or sometimes the other thing could be the deal, where you're shocked in realizing, it almost comes to you as an epiphany, almost through your intuition, where it's like, oh my God, I feel it. They're totally lying to me right now. That's the kind of energy that could happen there with Libra in the 12th. It's always this idea of, truth being hidden. And because it's in your 12th house, right? I mean, and because the South Node is in there, would indicate that something that needs to be released is, any propensity towards lying, and or the propensity to be gullible regarding what anybody would ultimately end up telling you. Now, there's a fine line here, because you're a very suspicious mind, right? With that Scorpio rising, you're very, very suspicious. So there is this idea, though, where, and I'm just saying, because with that Pisces sun and that Scorpio rising, there's very intuitive energies, but at the same time, there could be such a high degree of suspicion straight out of the gate, almost like you're just waiting for the shoe to drop, or waiting for something to happen. I give you an example. I just worked with a client where he had some very similar placements, and he swore that his long-term girlfriend was cheating on him. He saw some emails that he thought were suspicious, and he let his mind get away from him. And he ended up researching an ex-boyfriend of hers, and Anyway, very long story short, he created this narrative in his mind that she was completely enthralled in this, clandestine love affair with this guy, and that this guy was still married and all of this stuff, because the research that he did indicated that he was with this girl and they lived at this particular place. But what he wasn't realizing, that was a different timeline. Like the girl knew about that. This was for like his ex-wife. None of it ended up being true. But it started from this point of having this piece of information that seemed suspect, and he ended up growing it into something. And he ended up reaching out to me and telling, because I was telling him, no, this person's not doing this, right? I was like looking at the chart and looking at the cards. He was like very dug in. No, I know she isn't. And then he ended up reaching out to me and telling me that. So before I even pull the cards, I just want to say, like, that's something that you might want to just kind of just put in the back of your mind when you're dealing with people, that if something hits you, because you were very intuitive and you swear that that's what's going on, make sure you're working with the right information, because Libra in the 12th can get very confusing of what's real, like what's truth, what's not, what's fair, what's not, because the Libra is all about a win-win situation, the truth, fairness, feeling good. And within in the 12th, that's hidden. And that could be a very, you feel very vulnerable, right? Absolutely, like having to do with relationships and stuff. So just something to keep in mind. I'm not suggesting that that's what happened here with you suspecting this Cancer and cheating, but I just wanted to say, like, moving forward, that's just something that, you should recognize in yourself, that there is a propensity here for you to take something and maybe run with it a little further than it needs to be run with, right? And that's something that you're going to have to work on releasing, certainly because the nodes of the moon are changing. They're literally not officially changing until middle of January, but really we're feeling the energy start to shift right now. Started last week at the partial lunar eclipse, definitely happening in the full solar eclipse on December 4th. That's really when the torch is being passed from the Sagittarius Gemini nodal axis to the Scorpio Taurus axis. So wherever Scorpio is in any of our charts, we're going to be asked to release something, release a belief system, release a way that we thought we had to be, release the way that we've been dug into being. And over the next 18 months, we're all going to be asked to make a big change in that area and to become more grounded, to not be so traumatic in that area, right? All of us, and we all have it somewhere. And Taurus is going to be giving us the lessons, that grounded energy. So what I like about this for you, and I think this is going to be super helpful, is that you do have Taurus in your 7th house. So that's going to be very grounding for your relationships, where you're going to have to say, where do I get in my own way? Where do I have any self-sabotaging behaviors? Like, that's the very thing that you're going to need to work on releasing. And you're going to ask the partner there, Taurus, for some help in that area as far as grounding you. I hope that wasn't confusing. Really important for us all to understand. I'm going to do a video on that, on dealing with the Scorpio Taurus axis. But so that's what I see as far as just like your general placements. But let's just throw some cards down as far as general, because you were saying just general love and life. Okay. So love and life. Why don't we do life first? Okay. Let's do the rest of life separate from love, right? See what we have here. Let me pull this down so you can see what's going on here. So we have the Knight of Swords, something shocking coming in, having to do with dishonesty, ending something, but there is energy available to balance out the situation. It's the Strength card. Strength card indicates being able to get over some sort of past situation, as long as the important conversations are had, though. Let's just see what else, right? Very defensive energy, karma. Interesting, because we're doing this for life, and I feel like this is a relationship. But nothing lives in a vacuum, right? Everything sort of inflects itself. Let me just do a quick run through here. So we have this idea of you being very defensive of yourself. We have karma here. We have karma is in this energy. It really is very much about that. It's kind of like a combination of that Scorpio Pisces energy, that 8th house, 12th house that I was talking about. Really looking at the past, looking at cyclical behavior, looking at cycles within a particular situation. And it does seem like here you're very entrenched in your moral code, your personal philosophy, your belief system, right? When you sit and think about how things have rolled out in the past. The 9 of Wands, though, does indicate that you're in a position of strength, right? Where you're fighting long and hard in something, but you're exhausted. But you have the perseverance to see it through. Whatever like defensiveness you might be feeling right now is actually not going to be very long lived. It doesn't have to be. You don't want to stay in a negative mindset. If you can manage to have a very balanced and careful approach, you're going to have success in dealing with something from your past, because the 6 of Cups is an energy that harkens back to the past. This indicates nostalgia, this very strong desire for harmony, and it has to do with the past. So we have karma has to do with the past, and this has to do with the past. So it almost seems like there's either going to be a reconciling of situations that happen in your life in the past up to this point, so that you can move forward in the, energetically the cleanest way possible. But you also may be looking to, because it's following the Strength card, looking to balance out some sort of imbalance that's been had here, wanting to find the right balance in some sort of situation if you feel like you've suffered mistreatment or somebody else has, right? But you're very focused on getting to the bottom of an issue here. Having to do with this Queen of Swords is like a lot of feeling very motivated, I guess I want to say, to find the truth and the psychological motivation of somebody in your life. It's like you're very determined and strong, feeling very strong here in your desire to balance out something that's imbalanced. But we have the Tower here, which does indicate a necessary surrender. Something that wasn't good for you, it ended, because the way that it was going was just not good for you. But it does seem like you still have desire in you for this situation that ended. And then the 9 of Wands is being clarified by the Knight of Wands, which is Scorpio and Sagittarius energy, which is like speed blocks being lifted, decisions coming in, and you being very ambitious to be happy, really. I mean, that's really like the Wands are, well, it's passion, motivation, just feeling very, very hell-bent on being very happy here, wanting very much to be happy. Again, we have the 7 of Swords working with karma. So there's some sort of dishonesty or some sort of selfishness within cycles that you're looking at, but then we have that clarified by the Ace of Swords, which is getting over past obstacles, getting what you want, right? This is very much like a thoughts becoming things sort of energy. As an ace is a newness here, but it's like a newness based in truth. Lots of truth here. And we have the Knight of Swords, expect the unexpected, you defending yourself, right? Your moral code, your moral compass being very important to you. But then we have three of Cups. So this is a very supportive energy. It's very supportive. And this can indicate like emotional healing. This is a great energy for a new relationship. 3 is the number of creation. So I do see like you wanting to go into a new relationship here, and it happening for you, because there's newness, there's being very fired up. And then we have the Queen of Swords here, Virgo and Libra. So like lots of truth, lots of problem solving energy, having to do with how you feel about being in a relationship, but you're not over the Cancer yet. There's no way. Sorry, there's just too much energy that's showing up here, even though this was not even a relationship read. I feel like this is a very big thing in your life right now. I really do. And it's almost like this energy is drawing other things in your life, if that makes sense. I'm going to just sweep this. I'm not even going to clarify this right now. I'm going to actually put these here. I'm going to use the same deck. There's some energies having to do with career and or money, however she comes by money. King of Pentacles. Amen. High Priestess. It looks like you're thinking about leaving something, because the King of Pentacles is a little bit of a funny energy, because this is a very generous, hardworking, settled kind of energy, but this is an energy that has no patience for anyone looking to take what's his. So this could indicate like somebody not paying enough, or you just feeling like something is just missing, with what it is that you're doing, because there's an element of greed about it, right? And greed wears many different hats. There's a very negative connotation to that, but sometimes it's, it can make us feel like we're not getting paid for what we're worth. It's not necessarily greed, right? It's a version of greed where it's like, okay, I want more money for what I'm putting in. I'm very solid. I'm very, Aries and Taurus, right? I'm a leader. I'm solid in this. I think I deserve more money. But, you may be dealing with a situation where you're not able to grow to the point that you want to grow. And that's being clarified by the Hangman, which is a very sacrificial energy because it's Neptune, and wondering if it's all worth it. And if you're actually going to be able to get to where you want to be going. But that's been clarified by the High Priestess. So High Priestess is about secrets, feeling things, because it's connected to the moon, feeling things but not really disclosing them, right? So this could be, you showing up at work or doing whatever it is that you have to do, but you thinking about, maybe changing things, doing what you have to do for the money for the moment, right? But thinking about the future, thinking about things being different moving forward, right? Because that's being clarified by the King of Wands, and you very much kind of wanting to break out of something, breaking free, right? You want to express yourself. You really want to go after what it is that you want. Don't allow the idea of perfectionism to get in your way, especially because you have Mars in your first. Like, don't be too hard on yourself. Don't be, too difficult on yourself as far as can I do this? Is, am I a right fit for this? Is this going to be successful? You want to be careful because you bring everything that you need to the table. It's going to be well received. It really is. Because it does seem like there is some sort of change afoot for you, having to do, with that Hangman and then the High Priestess. It's like, okay, let me press the pause button and think, but then not talk about it very much, right? Because there's just something that's just, there's either an overly cautious energy in your life when it comes to money, or maybe money's not even the issue, but you're dealing with people that just simply like won't change, and you're just not happy in whatever situation it is. So the Empress energy, all about wanting to grow, focus on your happiness. Yes, Six of Pentacles, all about rest. Woo, this is very nice. Okay. So the Empress is a Venus energy, straight up growth, very nice. This is a money card. It's not only money though, it's like us feeling good about ourselves while we make money, right? Strong work ethic, that kind of thing. And you're recognizing that all of that is very, very necessary to adopt in order for you to be really happy. So there's a level of almost like accountability and personal responsibility that's very tied up in here, right? That's very, very tied up. Clarifying the Ten of Cups is the Six of Pentacles. So the Six of Pentacles is this idea of reciprocity. So this could have anything to do with like property, like a family situation, inheritance. But this could even be like, if you've been struggling financially, things getting better, money coming to you, maybe someone from your past offering you support right now, or you offering it to them, or, somebody supplementing your money. Could have to do with some sort of relationship though, as well. This is interesting here. Yeah, but that's being clarified by the Magician. So Magician is a really good energy for anything having to do with work, because this is a new beginning or direction in career. This can also indicate meeting somebody who's like very solid and practical and very able to problem solve that can help you in a way. So this could be, anyone from a coworker, a new boss, if you're involved in investments, a very solid like accountant or lawyer, or investment broker, anything like that. But it's you getting help, right? This is definitely an energy of reciprocity and communicating, which is really nice. So this could also indicate like any sort of investment in something that you want to do, or somehow helping you out here. It does seem like you're going to be getting some help out here over the next 6 months. 6 of Wands, excellent. 5 of Swords, yep, that makes sense to me. 4 of Pentacles, yep, makes sense to me. 10 of Swords, yeah. So it does seem like you're going to be transitioning out of something and into something else over the next 6 months. It certainly does seem like that. 6 of Wands, we like this a lot. Well, it's just a good card. I mean, in general, it's good news, but this is deserved success. And this is really great energy. If you've been struggling in any way, whether struggling, with feeling connected to what you're doing or money, it could be either one, but really nice energy there. But you realizing that with the 5 of Swords, speaking with the 4 of Pentacles, you realizing that the life that you're living right now is not in alignment with your desires. And it's that tension of the ongoing conflict that you're not going to win. So you're better off walking away with grace to deal with any disappointment, any frustration, anything like that, because you're not going to win a situation. You know what I mean? Because we have this working with the 4 of Pentacles. So I get a couple of things here. I get that, you want to make sure that you're being self-protective right now. And I feel like there's a lot of, yeah, it's like rightfully so, where not that you are being miserly at all. You're just very concerned about having enough money, right, for your future. But at the same time, you may be dealing with somebody who's not really willing to work with you as far as the money goes. So that's creating a certain situation that's pushing you to want to leave, because then we have the 10 of Swords. The 10 of Swords is ending where there's a history, right? And this is a lot of times this does come up with work energy, where there's a lot of communication that was going on within the work environment that you did not jive with. You might have lost your job because of some sort of like absolute different ideologies, different philosophies on how something should go, or there could have been some sort of disagreement. There could have been a lot of gossip about you. But generally speaking, it's like this lack of support that ends up making you feel very frustrated and stressed in it. And so what happens here when we get the 10 of Swords card is the release of that energy. Even if it's painful, it does indicate that it's an end of a difficult time period, so that whatever you're able to transfer into now, you're going to be doing so with a healthier energy and fresh eyes and a new mindset. But it does look like you're going to be leaving something having to do with that, but it looks good. And it's interesting because they don't even feel like there's a terrible amount of even really overt drama involved in it. I just feel like you're recognizing that something doesn't feel right for you anymore. And it really is easy. It's as easy and as simple as that. It doesn't feel right for you anymore. You're not getting what you need out of whatever the situation is. Okay. So now let's just do straight up relationship. Be very specific. Okay. Wow, really like working on shutting yourself down, having to do with that relationship. Get it. King of Swords, right? Just focusing on the mind instead of your heart in order to take control of things. As we're starting off with the Temperance in the reverse. So here, this is like an imbalance, recognizing an imbalance, right? Lack of cooperation, but just unfairness, right? You feeling like, you put a lot of work into that relationship and that it just didn't work. At the same time, you could also be feeling challenged by something that needs to change, right? It's just kind of like hanging with you. And the stress of this past situation is currently, continuing to impact your life. And, look, we're walking onions, really, right? We're like onions with legs. It's nice to say, oh, I'm just past that. I'm past that. And you may be, like in the 3D, but energetically, it takes a while, right? Particularly if we were very, very entrenched in something, right? But this could be a lot of difficult memories of the past, making you feel very stuck and held back in your ability to actually manifest something, right? Magician energy is really all about manifesting. If the way these two energies are speaking to each other, I mean, because this is about like action and problem solving. This is an alchemical energy, all about, deep communication and understanding and resolving things and having a very deep understanding and wanting that, right? This like new beginning. But there's this, you're feeling very energetically held back in that area because of something that you're viewing as viscerally being very unfair about a particular situation. Now, that's being clarified. And we have the Magician is speaking to the Two of Wands. So you may be speaking to somebody new, either through work or friends. Two of Wands is that energy of a new romantic partnership, maybe through work or friends. This can also indicate just being stuck, though, between two things, right? I mean, there are two wands. Wands are passion. And so it's still kind of thinking about the Cancer, but thinking about moving forward as well. And you very much focused on dealing with the facts within yourself, or at least the facts that you know to be true, right? Let's just say it like that. And, and that's it. I'm feeling very like I'm getting like a very forward thinking energy here, because of this unfairness. And so we have this unfairness is also speaking to the Strength card. So the Strength card, the Strength energy, which is this is Leo, right? And so when we get this, I mean, any test in the relationship could get better. The energy to balance things out is available, but only if somebody gets their ego stroked and the right conversations are had. That's really because there was this idea of ego, strong opinion about perception of how things went in the relationship. This is very, very strong right now. So, understanding like this unfairness, things need to be balanced. But right now, I feel like you're doing a lot of really good work on yourself right now. I guess the Nine of Pentacles is that it's like a very working on, and it's a very independent endeavor energy, right? And it's, getting as healthy as you can so that, like emotionally and stuff, getting as healthy as you can so that you could meet a really solid connection after doing some really solid work on yourself. This is a card where it's like very, because 9 is the number of productivity. So it's very much about integrating the body, mind, the spirit, and just really wanting to be at whole, feeling very at one. This is very much what you're all about right now. You're doing some really nice work on yourself. I do like that 9 of Pentacles following the Magician. I do. But I have to tell you, I feel like this Cancer energy is not, I'm not going to make it about him, but I just want to tell you that I'm feeling that's not done. You're not done with him. You guys are not done with each other. But yet you're very focused on taking space, giving yourself some space. You're really wanting to work on yourself, work on your stuff. Now, we have that being clarified by the Page of Swords. This is like very useful information coming into you. That page is also indicative of a new cycle. Page is truth. It's communication, right? This is the personification of air, so of truth, of communication. So somebody is serving you up some truth about a situation, or you're communicating swords with somebody new, maybe through work or through friends, right? There could be this communication as well. But again, going back to the Two of Wands, there were these, again, there were two wands, two aspects of a situation. But you notice as he's looking forward, he's only holding on to one wand, but the other wand is there. It's there. It's not an ace, it's a wand, it's two. Right. So it is, even if you wanted to move forward, there is still this energy. And it does seem like, as far as this new cycle happening, you getting in touch with what you would expect, need, desire, all of that. Because the Hierophant energy is about expectations and the need to conform to something. And it's about, it could be having to do obviously with, it always has to do with a very serious relationship. What's necessary? What are your expectations, right? And realizing things about yourself. You're going to be realizing a lot of things about yourself right now. Your value system is absolutely going to be very, very important, especially because you have Sagittarius in your second. So Sagittarius right now, we're learning a lot about ourselves, right, in that space. And having Sagittarius in your second house, that second house is the landlord is Taurus. So that has to do with, yes, it's the money that we make from the work that we do and all of that, but it's also how we nurture and feed ourselves, literally and metaphorically. And it has to do with our sense of self, our self-esteem, right? And so we've all been called to release something in that area, having to do with what we value, our understanding of how something needs to be. We've all been asked to release something in our Sagittarius area. But now it's going to be this recognition of just what's not serving you in that area in your life. What are you availing to you that is not nurturing, that doesn't feed you? Because that's the very thing that you need to get rid of. And I feel like that energetically, that. Well, your value system is going to be very important to you, but you want to feel good about who you are and how good you feel being in relationship. And so if there is a lack of trust and there is a lack of fairness, there's got to be a reason for that to be kicked up. Now, what is that based in? Is it based in your fear and your projection of things maybe that are uncomfortable within your sense of self? Or is it based in a fact of something that this person is presenting to you where you can't ignore it, where you're like, look, it's pretty obvious he did A, B, and C, blah, 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 however that's going to roll out. But there is going to be this realization, I do feel like. And we have the star energy, which is an Aquarius energy on the one hand, but having to do with the numerology, this is the strength card. Again, this call to balance, and you are destined to be with somebody. The star energy is always about a change for the better after a difficult time, hope, guidance, that kind of thing, right? But destiny as well, right? And, there's this element of truthfulness. So it's like staying in your mind, recognizing your destiny, but high priestess energy, keeping it a secret. So there's something being kept secret. Something is secret as far as where it is that you feel you need to be. I'm just getting a feeling where it's like there's something about this person that is, it's like you guys have some sort of, obviously a soul contract is to go without saying here, right? But soul contracts, soulmates are very not easy energies, right? I mean, for goodness sake, because we're meant to be in they're meant to be in our life, we're meant to be in their life in order to learn lessons, which is not always comfortable, right? But it's this high priestess energy again, is this intuition and feeling something though that you're not really willing to articulate fully. And sometimes it's even to ourselves, right? And that happens, right? Because it's connected to the moon, right? The moon rules Cancer. And so wherever there's moon energy, there's always this propensity, and we're all like this, where we want to be careful of the stories that we tell ourselves, because a lot of times we tell ourselves stories through our emotional body rather than through facts. And I see that you're in this space very much of trying to stick with the facts and sort of reason out where do your emotions end and facts begin? Do you know what I mean? Because there might be some blurred lines there. And that could always happen, no matter, any our fourth house energy just in general is like that. And then wherever the moon or our Cancer energy hangs out, there's always that where we're very sensitive, we're very emotional, we're very cuddly, we're very nurturing, we're very all of that. But at the same time, there can be this processing things through our emotional body. And, like the moon, our emotions change. The moon changes every 2 days, so do our emotions, right? I mean, so it can be a tricky energy to pin down. It could certainly be a tricky energy to pin down. But we have the star energy, and then we have that leading into the Six of Wands, which is a really great conversation, right? But that's being clarified by the devil. So the devil is really about imbalance, right? And the need to address something, whether it's cheating, whether it's addiction, whether it's narcissism, whether it's imbalance, depression, anxiety, unchecked, untreated, anything that's going to help to unshackle the relationship, right? Because in numerology, the devil is a lover's card. And the lover's card is all about recognizing that if there are issues in the relationship, there's always choice. And the choice is always, are we going to work at this or are we not? And everybody's got to be on the same page, right? Now, working with this, so this is communicating about the imbalances, that's being clarified by the Hierophant, which is again about expectations and the need to conform, right? But there is this idea of secrets, right? There are definitely secrets that are being held here. Yeah. So we have this Page of Pentacles energy. I say again, because this page always indicates a new cycle. So this is a personification of Earth, right? And you have that Earth energy on your seventh house. So this could indicate, you meeting somebody new who's very hardworking, very reliable, right? This can absolutely indicate a new relationship. And then we have the Eight of Wands in reverse, which is frustration, delays. So something, might end up, there's some sort of problem as far as starting some sort of new cycle in relationship here. And then that's being clarified by the Ace of Swords, which is getting over whatever obstacles are going on here and you're getting what you want. But you get what you want. And then you're like, oh, be careful what you wish for, because then you're in this Two of Swords energy. And you're almost like in this emotional stalemate. You need to make a decision. You want to protect yourself, but the situation's not going away. It's just not going away. And like in astrology, this is almost getting like a quincunx energy, where it's this uncomfortable energy that you can't think your way out of. You try to let time go by, but there's always this energetic pullback to it. It needs to be addressed once and for all, but you're very confused about this person, because then you're in the space of negotiating. You need to make a decision regarding which path to take, right? Each pentacle represents a path. So, you feel a sense of lack, right? In the connection on one path, but then the other path, you're not sure if it's good for you. So you need to actually, from an energetic point, make a decision about what it is that you're going to do. Like if you're going to let this person go, then you have to actively work on letting that person go. And I know you said that you're working on moving past, right? But it does seem like you are going to be held by this energy for a while longer. So, and this is the thing, right? Because the South Node of Sagittarius is going to be leaving your second house, having to do with, what you value and how you feel about yourself. So there's going to be some sort of release going on between now and the middle of January, right? And then you're going to need to release something from that first house of self. The anxieties that you experience having to do with relationship, having to do with life in general, anxiety, anything like that. I'm really releasing the past, right? Because Scorpio is a lot about the past and just releasing that and becoming a lot more grounded in all of your relationships. And I feel like that's what's going to be rolling out for you. And it's going to be kicked up now. It's going to be rolling out big time over the next 6 months for you. But this is going to be like a 2-year period of growth for you, which is really great, even though when you're in it, it doesn't feel very good because when the South Node is in our rising sign, it's a very ego shattering energy. Like Sagittarius risings have been going through it. Before that, Capricorn risings were going through it. Now it's Scorpio rising's turn, where it can be a very sort of like dismantling, right, in the sense of self, but only to, and you have to know this, to rebuild the sense of self in a way healthier way that's really good for you. So be open to the change, really be open to the change, because the change is going to happen anyway, and it's just better to be open to it. And I see you changing a lot in relationship and almost having a meeting in the middle kind of energy as well. Now, that's not to say I want to pull a spread on him and only his energy, because I want to get a better feel for him. But what I'm seeing here is still this energy of confliction about him and a new energy wanting to come in. But this energy of confliction is still very present, right? And so, if you have that going on, it's very difficult to give yourself wholly so to a new connection, right? It's very hard, but I want to pull on him, see what we have. Oh, Celtic cross spread for him. Seven of Swords. This is having to do with your relationship. Oh, girl, you were right about him. But everything else I said is still like relevant. Do you know what I'm saying? Like about your astrology. The reason I'm saying that, look, and all of this is coming from a place of love, because I know Scorpio risings, they say, no, I'm intuitive and I know I'm right. This is the thing, though, you have other things going on in your chart that would indicate that, yes, you are very susceptible to be lied to. You might be go through periods in your life where you may be dishonest a lot on the other end of the spectrum about something, but that's neither here nor there. Speaking to that, that rising sign, yeah, I mean, look, Scorpio rising, keeping it real, that energy, Scorpio and Pisces, they are like fish food for narcissistic people. They just are. Scorpios are a little more in tune with sensing things. I'm even going to say than the Pisces energy, even though Pisces is an older energy, right? It's the oldest of all of the zodiac, but because there's something that's very Scorpio risings base a lot of stuff in truth, right? And always looking for what's really motivating this, what is happening underneath, right? It's the fact that you're Scorpio rising, like you're very good at research. You're probably really good at like looking people up online or researching whatever you're interested in. You're very good at research. I'm sure you are. As like an aside, let's get into this energy with him. Oh my God. So look, I mean, where is he right now? He's lying. This is him. So what you suspected, I mean, like crazy that this is the card that came up, because this is about dishonesty, somebody who's immoral, running away from responsibility to the relationships. This represents overstepping boundaries, being selfish. And what's his challenge right now? His challenge is trying to start a new cycle with you. I feel like he has tried, right? Because this is about, his challenge is being patient. His challenge is in feeling like this relationship could be successful. Because the Seven of Coins is where it's the four of the world, three of the Trinity. Basically, it's like where we say heaven and earth meet to start a new cycle, right? A fresh new cycle. And this is his challenge right now. It's like he can't get out of his own way. He can't. We have the Ten of Swords coming into this energy, which is an ending to this. So there's a history too. There's an ending, in him wanting that ending because his truth, this is a subjective read, feeling like something was not very supportive. He couldn't take any of like the arguing, whatever it was. He could not, that's all the sword stuff he could not take. Now, the basis of the situation, we have the Nine of Cups in reverse. So the Nine of Cups in reverse, this does indicate like greedy energy, element of laziness as well when it comes to the relationship, not wanting to do what's necessary to actually really work at the relationship. We have the basis of the situation right now is he's the devil. I mean, so he's struggling with a lot of imbalance. You know, this can indicate infidelity, addiction, just not very healthy behavior that's shackling the relationship from being able to move forward, right? So here we have his the suggested approach is to admit to himself, which I feel like he is admitting to himself that he doesn't feel like he belongs in the situation anymore. You know, because why? Because he feels trapped. He feels trapped by relationship. He feels trapped. And meanwhile, you're showing up as the Eight of Coins, which is a very responsible, a very hardworking energy, right? When it comes to this relationship. And that's you. Okay. His psychological block is the Nine of Swords. He is not handling the situation well. He's not. I mean, he's trying very hard to get past something, to recover, to move, but he's being tormented here in his personal psychology and he's not reacting well to things. It's very interesting because it's almost like he wants his cake, he wants to eat it too here. In the near future, we have the Five of Coins. So this is, you know, dealing with the aftermath of the breakup, feeling a lack of connection, feeling, you know, very alone. And then, though, in the final outcome, we have the Two of Wands. So he could be meeting somebody new through work or friends as well, you know, moving on, focusing on a fresh path, a new perspective, but also him too, still having his 1 foot back in the relationship with you and 1 foot in the future. Yeah, definitely wants to be the Six of Cups. So, you know, he's thinking about the relationship that you guys have had, what you guys have been through together, feeling nostalgic, wanting to balance out. But then something steps in and he's like, oh, I don't know what I want to do, right? The Two of Swords is a Moon and Libra energy. So Moon's emotions and Libra's the relationship, and Libra's the most indecisive energy. So it's like, how do you feel? I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Should I get back? Should I not? Should I try to fight for this? Should I not? And then we have the Seven of Wands. He feels very justified in whatever it is that he's doing. He feels very dug in to his narrative, very dug in. So that's that Seven of Wands. His moral code, his belief system feeling very, very important to him. Now that's being clarified by the Emperor, Five of Cups, the Hangwoman, 10 of Wands. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, so he's feeling very, very defensive. He would like to settle things with you, but it's like he's very narrow in his approach. Everything's got to be done according to the way he thinks it needs to be. But ultimately, you're not going to go for that. You're just not. And so he's going to experience the sadness, the loss, it ending before he feels fully ready for it to end. But it's almost like I'm getting this feeling like he honestly does not see his own stuff yet. At the same time, he feels like if he ends up going back and trying to work this out, he's going to end up having to martyr and sacrifice his happiness in order to make something work. And that is just very overwhelming to him. And so we have the 10 of Wands, and it's like he can't do it anymore. 10 of Wands is like, I can't do this anymore. I have to put the wands down. So it's very interesting because it's like he's being dishonest. He's not being he's not being honest with you about it. But what's interesting to me, now I'm not calling him a narcissist, but I'm wondering where he falls on that spectrum, because in his cards, I'm feeling this energy of self-validation, almost like he's doing dishonest stuff, but he feels completely validated within his own mind, almost like he's blaming you, but not saying that he's blaming you, but almost like that. And just saying, well, I'm doing what I have to do in this because I feel A, B, and C, because she does this, this, and this. But him not being really honest with you about it. Okay, good riddance. You're going to be meeting somebody else through, honestly. No, nope. No. All right, let's pull Let's see. Future energy, please. Let's give some, tell me how this is going to be rolling out for her this year, please. Relationship rolling out for her. Lovers. Tower. The world. Could we have 3 bigger major arcanas in a row? The Lovers, the Tower, the World. King of Swords. Yes, good. I mean, I like that because I feel like you're going to need to just be very in your mental realm, sticking with the facts of a situation. Okay. Okay, so you're literally going to be making a choice to just move on. That's it. I mean, we have the because the Lovers is always about a choice energy. We have a lot of imbalance in this relationship, so we have to work together and, you know, to work this out. We have the Tower. It's just giving up necessary surrender because you're realizing that the life that you want to live in relationship is not what you can live with this person. It's just not. They're not ready. If they ever will be, they're just not in that space where they're capable. What you see in your mind's eye as happiness in relationship, you're never going to be able to have with this person. And I feel like you're coming to a point of learning the lesson, the World card, and you're staying very much in your mental realm and you're holding on to the facts of the situation, which is really kind of all you can do. You can't ask any more of yourself. I see you taking really good care of yourself here, Queen of Pentacles. Honestly, Sagittarius and Capricorn energy, taking care of your body, taking care of your finances. And I see you meeting somebody who is very Queen of Pentacles as well, which would be very reliable, affectionate, very generous energy. They know what's necessary to make a relationship grow. So, and this is you, like reflective of like making this decision to totally end this. So it's like you make that decision and somebody else comes in. And even though you learned your lesson, understand you're going to go through a period of should I, shouldn't I, should, because you're still hurting, you're still healing from something. And that doesn't mean that you can't move forward, but it does. I do see Ace of Cups energy here, which does indicate a new relationship. Okay, does indicate a new relationship. Now, I just want to go back to the Cancer person, right? Making the decision to not continue it because you feel like something is missing. You do. I mean, and I even feel like this is independent of the suspicion of cheating. It's like there's something else that's missing. There's just something else that's missing for you, you know, and where you feel you question whether the relationship has what it needs to go the long term, right? To actually go the long term. But you recognizing this, but you fighting with yourself. 5 of Wands. I feel like you're going to be doing a lot of fighting within yourself regarding, you know, feeling energetically pulled back towards him and then moving forward towards this newer energy. But I do feel like with a lot of patience and a lot of openness, you're going to open up a new cycle within your life where you're going to welcome a lot of happiness with this 9 of Cups. Ace of Wands, beautiful. I love this. This is a new chapter of passion, and wands are well, it's also sex, right? So you're meeting somebody new it's very passionate, very passionate. We have the 4 of Cups working with that, the Emperor, the Ace of Pentacles, the Knight of Wands, and the Page of Cups. Okay, so this is the thing. You're going to meet somebody and you're going to be in the space where I don't know, because you're still feeling very emotionally vulnerable and you're still cleaning stuff out. So you're going to go into the 4 of Cups energy. I don't know if this is going to work because of that, and that, and I don't know because of that, and that. But, you know, this does tell me that there is, you know, the need to heal past unhealed issues. Small changes are going to go a long way, right? So, but I see you meeting somebody new, wondering if you could do it, talking about the future. We have the Ace of Pentacles, very nice energy, absolutely, where through conversation, you're going to be able to figure out a good foundation of stability with somebody new. This Knight of Wands energy, events speed up, blocks are lifted. There's a lot of forward movement. You're going to feel very excited about being in this relationship, and you're going to start Page of Cups as a new relationship. This is a new potential partner on the near horizon. You do want to just avoid getting swept up too soon. But I see this is going to be a release of the cancer, continued work on yourself and healing. Somebody's going to be coming in. You're going to question, should I, shouldn't I? You're going to have a really good conversation because this person's a good energy. I see you meeting them over the next 6 months here. I think this is really nice stuff. This is really nice. Okay. Tough. You're in a tough position right now, though, because I could see that there's still a lot of pain that's involved here with this other person, that situation. It's interesting energy I got from him, man. Okay. All that glitters isn't gold. Be flexible. Message in the bottle. Yeah. So really listen very closely to your emotions, right? Good or bad, whatever comes up, really looking at your stuff. That's the message in the bottle, right? The phone represents messages. The water is our emotions, and a stalk represents a new life. So really pulling up whatever you need to address from the past. Be flexible, understand that your past does not have to define your future. And all that glitters isn't gold, meaning, you don't want to get over impressed with what somebody can offer you in the moment, that either focusing too much on the physical or too much on whatever, any other area, right? Going for the substance. It's all about going for the substance of a person right now. Absolutely. And I also feel like something about the relationship with the cancer seemed very intriguing, very seductive, very, really like something about it made you just really, really want it. But at the end of the day, it really wasn't all that. I feel like you're going to be realizing that there was a lot of, because whenever we get into a relationship, we bring our museum of experience into the situation, and we start writing this narrative straight out of the gate. And we all do it. It's just part of the human condition. And we create what we think the relationship could be or what it should be. And they do the same thing. So there are always these three entities involved in every relationship: what we want, think, and desire, what they want, think, and desire, and then the relationship, the reality of the interception of those two ideas of what the relationship is and what it could be. And one of the hardest things when we end a relationship is mourning the fairy tale of the story that we've written having to do with this relationship. It's one of the hardest things. So we have dreams, we have unleash your creativity, which is a fifth house energy about romance, and help from above. Yeah, just have faith. Honestly, I know it's hard to do, but I am feeling like you got that because you're in a point where you're in a period of deep frustration, and it's very hard to have faith when we're in a period of deep frustration. So I feel like if there's an energy on the other side, if you lost anyone who, whether a parent, an aunt, uncle, a friend, somebody has your back here. You're being watched very closely. But all that glitters is being clarified by dreams. So you really want to check yourself in your mind's eye. What is it that you're seeing for a relationship? And maybe realize that there might need to be some changes made in that area, especially with the south node of the moon is going to be sitting in your first house of self for the next 18 months, right? Come January. So that's what I have for you, my friends. I hope this was helpful in some way. Thank you so much for trusting me with your energy. You take care. Bye-bye.